Hey guys, I've recently wanted to use some of my knowledge in how programming and software work and implement it into my content here on YouTube and Twitch. So I decided to discuss why some of the bugs within the game happen, starting out with one of the most significant frustration on the seas. Almost all games have bugs. Sea of Thieves is absolutely no exception. Although most bugs that still exist within the game are not entirely game-breaking, Hit-Reg has probably been responsible for a number of broken keyboards. It's easy enough as a community on the outside looking in to wonder why a seemingly simple and fundamental flaw within the game still persists after multiple attempts to, quote, improve hitreg. In this video, I will attempt to explain my best guess as to why this bug occurs from a programmatic standpoint and why it may be very difficult to patch out. Please note, although I have a relatively extensive background in software design, I do not have a massive background in specifically game development, nor do I work for Rare, so the explanation given in this video may not be necessarily 100% accurate and is most likely only one part of the entire issue. Rare has mentioned a few times in their news videos that hitreg is a problem due to the complicated positioning that Waves introduced to the game. Although this is definitely part of the issue, I feel like it's only part of the whole. To figure out why hitreg is such an issue, we need to adjust our lens slightly and look at the game as a whole. Ah yes, there we go. Starting animations. Now do you notice something missing? Something that most other games have, but Sea of Thieves seems to lack. No? Well, take note that there is no mention, boot, or logo of an anti-cheat. Now this isn't a mistake. Sea of Thieves operates without an anti-cheat. It's hard to say why this is the case, but without going into specifics on how hacks are built, this makes it easy to program a hack for the game. Now before you click off the video and go look up a tutorial on how to make a hack, there's one very important distinction to make. Although Sea of Thieves does not have a direct anti-cheat, it is not completely unprotected. And this is evident because despite there being no anti-cheat, the amount of hackers on the seas is notoriously low as compared to other competitive titles that do have an anti-cheat. There are few ways that Sea of Thieves protects itself from skiddies that would rather use their mom's credit card to gain an advantage rather than actually spend time getting good at a game. But the big one we're going to be focusing on here is the server-side validation. In summary, server-side validation is a process of the game server checking if the action you just performed in-game is possible. Most games use this to keep track of player level, gold, currency totals, and things that don't necessarily need to be in the forefront of the game. But Sea of Thieves seems to also use it to check if a hit was valid or not, which is where what Joe says comes into play. Because of how complicated the waves are within Sea of Thieves, there are many things that have to be checked to make sure a shot is valid. So instead, the system takes shortcuts. Was the shot a little bit too flicky? Hit-reg. Did you hit them through a wave? Hit-reg. Did the server think the player was in a different place than they actually were on your screen due to a packet being dropped? Hit-reg. In a perfect world that everybody constantly had 20 ping and people played on the servers that they were supposed to, the system will work just fine. However, our world is very messy, and due to ping differences and complicated flow of data, the player you just shot may or may not be in the place where you saw them. As far as the client's concerned, you did hit the guy standing right next to your anchor in arena, but instead of telling the server, hey server, I did 50 damage to XX Pro Sniper XX, please tell his client to reduce his health by 50 points, instead it says, hey server, I shot a hit in this direction, please check if it hits anyone. And because the server thinks that Pro Sniper XX is to the left by a few inches, the shot doesn't do any damage despite it landing on your screen. Now, let's talk about a few solutions. What can Rare do to fix or even improve how hitreg works? As always, we have the band-aid fix. Rare is notorious for adding fixes into the game that don't actually solve the issue, but just cover it up. In this case, the bandage would be having your client wait for the server to respond, yes, you did hit them, or nah, you didn't hit them, before displaying a hit marker on your screen. This is a terrible fix for two reasons. Firstly, that means hit markers would be probably delayed, meaning it could be in upwards of seconds before you actually know if you did damage, and in the fast-paced combat of Sea of Thieves, that's a big no-no. Secondly, and much more importantly, it doesn't actually fix hitreg, it just makes it less obvious when it happens. The only difference would be is that hit markers would be consistent, albeit a little bit delayed, with what the server ultimately decides. The fix that's most likely to work in the game's favor is implementing an actual anti-cheat and reducing the reliance on server-side validation. However, I feel like this fix is unlikely. If there was going to be an anti-cheat in the game, it would have already been implemented. And because the current system seems to prevent hackers well enough, there's no pressure for Rare to change anything. The fix that Rare seems to be using is going the backwards route of trying to fix Hitreg through reducing server latency and server delay. Most recently, this has been attempted by reducing player count within each server. Anybody who enjoys PvP knows why reduced player count is a bad thing on the game's longevity. And ultimately, there will always be players in Europe trying to play on NA servers and vice versa. So this method can really only reduce the chances of hitreg taking place on your home servers, with higher ping foreign servers still seeming like you do 0 damage after 5 shots. At the end of the day though, whatever avenue Rare chooses to try to fix this issue, I hope this video has helped you understand why a seemingly simple, critical flaw within the game still persists. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know by dropping a like and a comment below. This is a very new form of video to me, and I want to know if this is something you want to see more of. One thing before I go, I started a new thing where I review game ideas for the Sea of Thieves live and discuss the plausibility of them being implemented into the game. It's all a little bit for fun, but if you want to participate, jump into the Discord below and visit me live on Twitch. I stream near daily PvP content every evening on the Seas, and would love to have you come up and chill with us. If you have any questions about bugs within the game or the plausibility of a game idea being implemented, that's a really good place to ask those things. All that said, best of luck on the Seas, and remember,
it's not about the gold. It's about the glory.